So for topic 2, we're going to look at dividing integers, and luckily the sign rules for dividing integers are exactly the same as they are for multiplying integers. So you can see here that the rules say that if you're dividing two integers with the same sign, you're going to get a positive quotient. And if you're dividing two integers with different signs, you're going to get a negative quotient, okay? So the good news is, same rules, you can apply it twice. Now, as an example, I gave you negative 20 divided by negative 5. We're dividing two integers with the same sign. We're going to get a quotient of positive 4. Now, negative 36 divided by positive 9, we have two different signs here. We're going to get a quotient of negative 4 there. So let's go ahead and look at example 2. It says find each quotient. So I'm going to start with just determining what my sign is going to be, then I'll do my side work second. So I've got 408, which is positive, divided by negative 7. That tells me my quotient is going to be negative, okay? And then off to the side, I'm going to set up for long division. Now, remember, we know that 7 is going to go into 408 some amount of times, but it's not easy to see right off the bat what that number of times will be. So what we do is we figure out how many times 7 will go into the first digit or the first two digits. So in this case, 7 will not go into 4, but if I look at 4 and 0, 7 will go into 40. So 7 will go into 40 5 times. 5 times 7 is 35. Make sure you've got your multiplication table out if you need to verify these numbers. So 40 minus 35 is 5. I drop down the next digit, which is an 8, and then I repeat the whole process. So let's see, 7 into 58. Well, let's see here. 7 times 7 is 49. And then let's see, 7 times 8 is 56. So I would say 7 goes into 58 8 times. So 8 times 7 is 56. So I subtract 56 and I get a 2. There's not another digit to bring down. 2 is less than my divisor. This tells me I'm done. So my final quotient is 58 with a remainder of 2. And just remember, this is negative 58 with a remainder of 2. Now, what's a little bit weird here is we are talking about dividing integers. Of course, our answer is not an integer value, but we already know how to divide where we have a remainder, so it'll be okay here. Now, next up, we have part B, which is 3,675, well, negative 3,675 divided by negative 12. So we're dividing two integers with the same sign. That tells me my quotient is positive. So I am going to put a plus sign there for now. And then I'm going to set up for long division. All right, I have no idea how many times 12 will go into 3,675, but I can piece it together using long division. So I know 3 won't go, or 12 won't go into 3, but 12 will go into 36. So 12 will go into 36 3 times. So 3 times 12 is exactly 36. Again, get your multiplication table out if you need help with that. So we want to subtract 36, which is 0. Drop down the next digit. And this is something that you have to be really careful with. When you're doing long division, as soon as you subtract and bring a digit down, you have to put something in the quotient. So we can't just be like, oh, well, 12 doesn't go into 7. You have to say, okay, 12 goes into 7 0 times. So 0 does need to go up here in your quotient. And then 0 times 12 is 0. So we subtract. We get a 7. We bring the next digit in line down, which is a 5. And then we ask ourselves, how many times will 12 go into 75? Well, it happens to go in 6 times. 6 times 12 is 72. I subtract. I get a remainder of 3. There's not another digit to bring down. So we would say our final quotient is positive 306 with a remainder of 3. So even though we're practicing division of integers, these two answers are not technically integer answers, but I wanted you to practice division with remainders again, okay? Now, in a future section, we'll talk about, okay, what do you do when you have a remainder? And we'll talk about how that works out with a fraction or with a decimal answer. But for here, just leave the remainder as it is. Okay, so that is dividing integers. I am going to go ahead and add one more. Well, I guess I'll do a second video for this one. So that's it for this video.